Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Just My Thoughts. I'm your host, Eric Daniel Coughlin. How you all doing? I hope you're doing great. All right, so today's thought tracker is main agenda. I said that I was going to prove Coby White's worth. A couple episodes back, we were running the numbers for Nikola Vucevic because of all the haters of the Vooch trade and just the haters of Vooch in general, which is really ridiculous. I can't believe a man so talented even has haters, but that's just the world that we live in today. Maybe the world we've always lived in. Who knows? I only know about 35 years worth, but I tell you, it ain't been pretty. So I took the liberty for myself and for all the fans out there, and for anybody who's like absolutely in love with Coby White or absolutely hate Coby White. I ran the numbers, excuse me, to see where he's at in his career and to you know go over we're gonna discuss the money that he's expecting, and then we're gonna discuss the money that I feel like he may be worth. So let's do that. So obviously he's been in the league 4 years. He's coming off his rookie contract extension. He's coming off his rookie deal. He's a free agent. um, So he's looking at roughly his net worth is roughly 9 million a year. So to max salary him would be about 45, close to 50 mil would be max salary cap for him if he gets the super max deal. Well, if he gets the max deal, I don't know what the super max deal is. I don't know exactly what the contract rules provide for that. Because I'm sure salary taxes go up. I'm sure if you get a super max, numbers kind of change, dwindling on the backside of it to benefit the franchise, not the player. Um, but to get a super max deal, he'd pretty much get 5 years and he'd get top side of nine. So pretty much 5 years, 10 million a year, around 50 million. All right, but that's where his net worth is. So let's talk about what he's done. I've already said, and I'm restating, that he's been on the team for 4 years. His rookie year, he came in as a rookie and a starter. Played 76 games, so kind of impressive rookie year. Everyone thought that he was going to be, or was hoping, everyone was hoping that he was going to be point guard of the future. Then second year kind of has a decline. He gets hurt, right? He had a knee injury. He played 56 games, and his numbers were kind of off. I mean, I guess that happens when you have a knee surgery, and it also happens when you play at least some, a less number of games. But then, so what did we do after that? Because of the knee injury and because of the slight decline, we drafted Ayo DeSumo that following draft year. And then Ayo DeSumo comes in and takes his job right off the bat. Ayo DeSumo comes in as the week one starter, even though he was drafted, and Coby White goes to the bench. And then the following year after that, we got Lonzo Ball. And, but then Lonzo gets hurt and the job goes right back to Ayo and instead of Coby. So in 4 years, we found more reasons to keep Coby on the sidelines than we have to put him in the game. Some people might want to know why. I think I may already know why, but I'm going to sum it up for you. Here we go. In 4 years, his total career points in 4 years for Coby White's 3,387, which means he averages 14 points a game, from starter to bench warmer to backup point guard. In his career, he's averaged 13 and a half, 14 points. All right, let's talk about his assists. This is what we want from point guards. This is what we need from point guards. Yes, we need a catch and release shooter, but we got that in Zach LaVine. Yeah, we need a defender, but we kind of got that with, Alex Caruso and DeMar DeRozan. So what we don't really have is someone that's distributing the ball. In 4 years, this is what he's done as a distributor. 883 assists, which is, again, 3 or 4 assists a game. It's not that impressive, especially if you're trying to be a point guard, especially if you've already been a point guard for this team and in the starting rotation and you're averaging 3 or 4 assists a game. It's not looking that good for Coby White already. Let's talk about steals. Again, this is something that you would like to get out of your point guard. You'd like, to generate at least two a game. Two, on the top side of two. It's hard to average 3 steals a game. I understand that. I understand the game of basketball, but I know you really, really good defenders are chewing up over 100 a year. So let's look at that number. In 4 years, 170. That's about .8. It's less than 1 steal a game in his career. All right, so keep up with that. Let's talk about rebounds. Now, rebounds don't matter to me in the point guard situation. So, like, if my point guard's not getting any rebounds, but he's getting a shit ton of assists, guess what? I don't care about the rebounds. If he's not getting any rebounds, getting a shit ton of points, guess what? I don't really care about the rebounds. I don't care about the rebounds if you're a point guard, but you're doing other things instead of rebounding the ball, which he's not been doing. So, let's see what he's done in 4 years. 4 years, he has got 908 rebounds, which is about 3 a game. It's not that bad for a point guard. Could be better, but it could be acceptable. Could be acceptable if everything else was up to par. Right, right, but it's not. Damn. Okay, let's talk about blocks. 38 career blocks. That's less than 3.3 a game. He's like 0.2, 0.3 a game in his career. Now, in 4 years of being a Chicago Bull, this man has played 269 games, which is an average of 67 games, which is really just about 20 games over half a season. It's not really that good. It's not very consistent. A consistent number, an acceptable number is 78. If you're playing 78 games out of the year, it's very acceptable. I appreciate you. I need you. That means you're only missing 4 games, 5 games, probably twisting an ankle, probably, maybe got sick, had the flu, something like that. But I like that number to be 78 is where I like that number, you know what I'm saying? So, really, realistically, he's wanting $9 million a year, but he only wants to give you 13 points a game with 3 rebounds, with 3 assists, with barely a steal, with never getting a block, and maybe 3 boards a game. Now you said, well, what if you started him? Wouldn't those numbers go up? Ideally, realistically, depending on how much his minutes really go up. But we're talking about a guy who is consistently inconsistent. That's the reason why they're talking about trading him. That's the reason why Ayo Dosunmu got drafted to begin with. That's why we brought Lonzo Ball over. They've never, besides the first 2 years of him being in the league, they never considered him to be the answer at point guard. Take that in consideration. This man is asking for about 40 to 50 million a year, and the Bulls don't even know if they really want him. So do you want him for 40 or 50 million a year if you're a Chicago's Bull fan? That's my question to you. My answer to you, if you were to ask me, is no, not at 40 to 50 million. Now, if Coby White wanted to sign down, not dumb down, excuse me. Now, if he said, what if you just give me, 3 years? If you give me 3 years, would you still give me the 9 million? So you're talking about 27 million. I'd still say, yeah, but you got to give me a player option. Like if I'm giving you 27, that's, I'll push it to 30, but you're giving me 4 years and there's no trade, no trade clauses. If I want to get rid of you after 16 games, I can get rid of you. Your money goes. I saved your salary cap. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be the next guy's problem. That is how I would attack this. And this is the reason why. Here comes the player comparison. Let's talk about Ayo Dosunmu, who's only been in the league for 2 years, been a Bull for 2 years. Coby's been a Bull for 4 years. So let's look at what Ayo Dosunmu has done in 2 years, all right? How about he's played 157 games, which is 78 per year. That's that magic number I told you I like. Ayo hits it. Let's talk about, how about 1,366 points, which is right at 9 or 10 points a game, which is only a 3-pointer short of Coby White a game. He's got 462 assists, which is again 3.5, 4, primarily matching Coby White. All right, his steals are 122, and so that's right at a steal a game. So that's actually over what Coby does. All right, rebounds 434. That averages at 3.4, almost 4 rebounds a game. Blocks, he has 55 career blocks, which is a half a block a game. It's kind of acceptable. Again, he's a point guard, so that's very acceptable, very acceptable. And then we're going to look at his, I don't know if we mentioned his rebounds being 434 rebounds, 3 a game. And that sums it up. So you got a player who's, 2 years younger, been in the league 2 years less. He's averaging 9 points a game, with 3 assists a game, with 1 steal a game, with 3 rebounds a game, with a half a block a game. and he plays 78 games a year. So he essentially matches Kobe's numbers and rebounds and assists. He's better at the defense. He's over on the blocks and the steals. He's under in the career games, but actually he's over in averages. Yeah, he's going to be under in career games. He's got 2 years less, right? Right. So really, he's kind of, in my opinion, he's kind of not only just matching Kobe, he's kind of besting Kobe. And you know what his worth is? 5 million a year. So if you maxed him, if you might get Ayo Dosunmu 5 years for 25 million, or get Coby White for 5 years and 50 million. Ask yourself, is Coby White worth double what Ayo is? By the numbers, no, he is not, and he won't be. So you could say all his numbers go up if, okay, we're talking about Coby White. You could say all his numbers go up if he starts, but then you could say the same thing with Ayo Dosunmu. If Ayo Dosunmu starts, all his numbers go up as well. So Ayo's taller, he's faster, he's younger, seems to be smarter. He's got less turnovers, which I mean, I understand. I understand the career games situation. I understand length of time, but they do a turnovers per game ratio, and guess who's leading in that? Ayo Dosunmu. So, is Coby White even worth saving? That's the biggest question. I say yes. I say he's worth saving if he does a small deal, not a max deal. I would sign Coby White 3 years. Ah, I don't know what I could even offer him. 3 years, 28 million with a player option. And then Ayo Dosunmu on the opposite side of that, sign him 4 years, 20 million with the player option. So maybe 4 years, 21 million, blah, blah, blah. So you can almost sign them for about the same amount of money. If you can wrap up both players for around 40, just over 50 million, through salary cap, ideally for the Bulls, that's what I'd like to do. But again, that's not committing to Coby White. I mean, if shit happens and you decide that you want to trade him in the middle of the year, that could be opposable. But here's the thing: I'm not totally against Coby White either. I think he's a streaky shooter. That's the problem. I think he's consistently inconsistent. I think that's his biggest problem. And it's not just me that's saying it; it's all the pros as well. Coaches have problems with him. Teammates have problems with him. When people put their faith into him, he lets them down, and it's just not. In the world of the NBA, you can't pick and choose when you're going to shine. You know what I mean? You can't, especially for the franchise of the Chicago Bulls, for the city who's dying to win a championship again. It's probably the hardest place to come into and try to gain fans because everyone's all in the glory days of Michael Jordan, and then everyone misses everything that Derrick Rose did, and then there's the Jimmy Butler saga, and then, the biggest question is will we ever see another Luol Deng? So it's really hard to get accepted into, the city loving you and wanting you on a team to begin with. That's kind of hard to do. So I do favor Coby for that. But in all fairness, we kind of hyped him up to be something that he just couldn't be anyway, right? We drafted him for UNC, University of North Carolina, the same place that we got Michael Jordan from. So we thought, hey, maybe this would work out. Last time we got somebody from out there, he became a GOAT. So maybe the expectations were far too high. Obviously, they were. Obviously, these are things that the organization have already figured out. But I do love his energy. I love his speed. If there's one thing that attracts me to Coby White, it's how fast he is. Um, and the afro flying all the time when he's going in there for a dunk and his hair is just going crazy. And I do think he sizes up, defensively pretty well for a point guard. He's 6'5", 6'6", so he sizes up well against wings. He sizes up well against other point guards and shooting guards. So he's kind of nifty. You could play him in 3 different positions. There's a reason why we haven't kicked him off the team, but there's also a reason why we might not be willing to pay him 40 million. I personally am not. I'm not worth. I can't give Coby White 40 million if I can give Ayo Dosunmu 20 million and get the same exact production. It's Ayo's fault that Coby White, I cannot prove your worth. You did it to yourself. You've been in the league for 4 years, and I just gave everybody your numbers, And then I gave everybody a guy that's 2 years younger than you the same exact numbers. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? What I'm saying is Coby White, Derrick Jones Jr., future first round draft pick, up for grabs in a trade package for a powerful power forward. I think that's going to happen. And here's another thing too. It may not even be Weep, because I read this, and I think I've already stated this on the show once. I read that we're getting out of the Lonzo deal. Well, we are considering getting out of the Lonzo deal. Nothing's etched in stone. But the biggest problem is everybody knows what we know. He's not coming back. So no one's really biting the big fish. People are offering up stuff that we'd be a fool to take and let him go when he does get healthy, right? I mean, if all we're going to get is crumbs, you might as well let him get healthy and then unleash the dragon, right? Right. So that's kind of like what we're doing too. Um, it would take a big name to get off of Lonzo Ball. And it would take another big name to bring in another guard might be a problem, but there's guys floating around the league. They've talked about, Gordon Hayward coming to town, which I'm completely okay with. I don't know where I would play him. Here's the thing: Gordon Hayward can't come in and play point guard. He can't come in and play shooting guard, and he can't come in and play small forward. Why? Because the shooting guard is Zach LaVine. Boom. And the small forward is DeMar DeRozan. Boom. And then Gordon Hayward's too big to be a point guard. They tried it. Gordon Hayward tried to play point guard for Boston. Lasted like 3 years, and then they got rid of him. Said that you give up the ball too much, and it's because he's not a ball handler. It's because he's a wing player. We don't need a wing when we already got a wing. You see what I'm saying? You can't just build a team. You can't have five fucking small forwards like we did last year. We had like 5 point guards. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that we had Alex Crusoe as a point guard, that we played power forward all damn year. Io DeSumo was point guard. Coby White's point guard. Patrick Beverley's a fucking point guard. You see what I'm saying? If it broke it down, he was drafted into the league before he got transferred over into a shooting guard. Zach LaVine was a point guard. So that's the reason why. It'd be I like Gordon Hayward. This is what I see out of Gordon Hayward. This would be my expectations to sum up and verify if what I read last night is true. If we give up Coby White, if we give up Derrick Jones Jr., if we give a future first round pick for Gordon Hayward, the numbers that he'd have to hit every single night consistently are 24 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. And this is every night. He's got to bring it. And he's coming into, he's already 31 years old. He'd be coming over at the age of 32, which is the same age as Nikola Vucevic. I'm not saying it couldn't work, but it would, again, change how we play. So then you say, well, what if Alex played the point guard? And then what if Zach played the shooting guard? And what if we let Gordon Hayward play small forward? And then we let DeMar DeRozan play power forward? And then Nikola Vucevic plays the center? That sounds intriguing. That sounds like a very good lineup. That sounds like a lineup that's going to make the playoffs and hurt a lot of people's feelings. But then here's the thing. On the flip side of that, I like DeMar DeRozan as a small forward, not a power forward. I do not like undersized power forwards. It really it intensifies all the things that Nikola Vucevic has to do as a center. So Vuce has to be a center, and then he has to be a power forward at the same exact time. That's why I don't like that idea. What idea do you like? I've already said it. Now, if we can make that trade happen, okay, do it, right? Right. And then your salary cap still essentially stays roughly about the same. So then you roughly have about 40 million that you can, add on to, well, I guess that 40 million goes to Gordon. So you would still have to find that power forward. And I already said that I like Dwight Powell. He is the most intriguing name to me. Jacob Portal is another intriguing name, but Jacob Portal is a center, and I would not take Portal over Vucevic ever. I've already made this statement on the last episode of talking about the Bulls. I said that I would put Nikola Vucevic against anybody, and I mean that. That's why I'm not getting rid of him. That's why if he wants 60 million, I'm giving him 60 million. That's why I'm finding out ways to ship out Coby White, because I have Io DeSumo. And it's not that Coby White's not good. It's just that he's not good enough. Coby White's not going to give you the 24, 8, and 6, and 2 numbers that you're looking for. The numbers that are going to complement Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic and lighten the load of our big three: Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic. Yes, every team has a big three, and we have a very talented big three. But also, every big three has a shit ton of help by either having a really badass bench or having another stud, the baddest ass 6 man, in the league. Which I'm talking about, a starter coming in and taking that role. So I'm not even worried about a 6 man. I think Patrick Williams will take that role, glorified. So if that were to happen, and let's talk about this package because the more I talk about it, the more I think it would be okay. So we trade Coby White, first round draft pick, and Derrick Jones Jr. and we get Gordon Hayward, and we run Alex, we run Zach, we run Hayward, we run DeRozan, and we run Vooch, right? And then Drummond's the backup center. Ayo Dosunmu's the backup point guard. Patrick Williams is the 6 man backup power forward. Then the question is, what are we gonna do about the shooting guard, and what are we gonna do about the small forward, right? Because Derrick Jones Jr. would have been the small forward, and Coby White would have been the shooting guard. Well, here's the thing: draft's coming up, right? Right. Plus, we're still working out a deal. Off season has to happen. We're gonna fill that role of maybe a starting power forward, or maybe not. Maybe a very reliable, shooting guard that comes off the bench, and work out a deal to where Dallin Terry could actually step up and get playing time. That small forward role that we're questioning about Derrick Jones Jr. Derrick Jones Jr. I think, honestly, I'm going to say this with a straight face and not even look back twice. I think Dallin Terry is talented enough to step up and take that spot. Dallin Terry could play and learn how to be a boy. He's young. He's fresh. We drafted him last year. He pretty much sat all year long. He only played like 5 or 6 games, and they were like maybe 6 minutes apiece. But the dude can shoot the three ball. The dude knows how to play defense pretty well. He can rebound pretty well. We're talking about a young kid, and we're asking him to go out and play basketball. Being a small forward is the easiest thing to do in basketball, in my opinion. You pretty much just play ball. You play defense, get rebounds, take the open shots. You just got to be reliable and be there. No basketball, you can play small forward, no problem. So I think Dallin Terry takes that role and does a very good job. The growth that Patrick Williams showed last year at the end of the season, I think Patrick Williams is a guy that can win 6 man of the year next year. I think he's very serious. And then him still being young and talented, encourage Dallin Terry. Patrick Williams could boost Dallin Terry's game hands down. No questions asked. Drummond being there to lock down the paint, say, "Hey guys, I trust y'all. Shoot it. Do what you want. No one's coming in here." That's the glory of having a guy like Andre Drummond. That's a true damn story. The man can swallow the paint by himself. Does not need any help. Everybody knows that. So I do think with Drummond running the center, I do think Patrick Williams running the power forward, Dallin Terry running the small forward, Ayo Dosunmu running the point guard is successful, with the question mark of who's going to be that next guy on the bench, who's going to fulfill the shoes of Coby White. That is the question. The question is, it could be, the answer, we could draft the kid, right? This is true. Sometimes you fall out of a lottery pick, right? But sometimes you can find somebody that wasn't drafted at all. Look at Miami Heat; they've got 4 undrafted fucking players, and they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're 1 win away from going to the NBA championship. So it doesn't even matter where you find the guy. The question is who's gonna fill those shoes. But those shoes are lightweight. I'm picking on Coby White. I'm saying that he can be replaced tomorrow, and that is the truth. I've already proven it. He's already been replaced. He's been replaced by Ayo Dosunmu, who we must not lose. So to save money, to build the team, to go into the future, and like I said, we're talking about Coby White wants 40, million. We can land a very decent dude for 40 million and trade Coby White. I think Gordon Hayward's a plus. I think he gives you those numbers that I mentioned, the 24, 8, 6, and 2, and start, right? And that means we need a guard instead of a power forward. I've been making the statement that we need a power forward, need a power forward, need a power forward. But if we bring in a dominant wing, a dominant wing, someone where we don't have to worry about DeRozan going and playing wing no more, and then DeRozan just help Vooch like he used to in college. What? Yeah, like he used to in college. They both played for UCLA. They won a title together in college. They absolutely are good friends. They're not best friends, but they're good friends, and they love playing together. That's why Vooch and DeRozan are together to begin with. That's what helped DeRozan come to the Bulls to begin with. It's not the fact that he wanted to play with Zach LaVine. It's the fact that he wanted to play with Nikola Vucevic. So if you didn't know that, you know that now, and you heard it from yours truly, Eric Daniel Coughlin. How are you doing? So I'm going to do a little bit more homework, find out who's floating around the free agency at that shooting guard position, at that power forward position. We've already talked about, like I said, Dwight Powell. I said that Kristaps Porzingis, Thomas Bryant, Rui Hachimura, who's probably not going nowhere. Don't worry about Rui Hachimura. I don't think that the LA Lakers are going to give that kid up. I think he did a great job throughout the playoffs. And I thought even on their run to making the playoffs, if you keeping up with the show, if you watched one of the older podcasters episodes, I should have said that a little bit more clearly. I'm sorry about that. But either which way, I said what I said. I had bragged about how I thought he was one of the best young talents in the league, and I still think that he's one of the best young talents in the league. So I don't think he will be available. I think he'll be cleaned up very early, as soon as the season's over with. Actually, their season already is over with. They're probably already working on a deal of players they're not going to lose, and Rui Hachimura is definitely on that list. So players that they probably will lose would be like Dennis Schroeder, who I'm not interested in. I don't think they're going to let themselves lose Austin Reeves. I don't think they're going to let go of the prodigal son. But they will lose, talent. Obviously, they want two or three more pieces for LeBron and AD, so they don't even have a big three. They just have a big two. They're looking for that third missing piece, and I think they'll find it. But not through any of my guys. I want the Bulls to stay the same. I want that. I want the addition. I would accept the Coby White trade. I'm telling you, look, I seen this online, and like everyone was bashing the whole idea, like, oh my God, you can never do that to Kobe. Why the hell not? Why would you not? If you've already done it to Bobby Portis, if you already done it to Wendell Carter Jr., if you've already done it to, we didn't even, Laurie Marketing, there you go. We've had great guys that we let go, so why not let go of Coby White? Because I tell you, I don't think that, I thought it was a bad move letting go of Laurie Marketing, but I don't think we'll ever get him back. And I don't know if I even want him back. Nikola Mirotic, that was a dude that could bang down the three. That was a dude that was averaging like 20 points a game per fourth quarter that we let go to the Euro League. So yes, we find good players and we let them go. So if Coby White happens to be one of those guys, so fucking be it. If we're talking about getting an ex-champion, Gordon Hayward, we need ex-champions. We got one, DeMar DeRozan. We got one, Nikola Vucevic. If we add Gordon Hayward, if we add championship mentality to this team of youth and arrogance, it would help change the culture. So I'm completely for that trade. Completely for that trade. I'm completely for offering 4 years, $20 million to Ayo Dosunmu. And I'm still completely for finding a way to get Dwight Powell. If he's that missing piece, there's things that can be changed in the locker room, right? I don't know. I don't think, Powell wants to come over and be part of a bench rotation. And I don't know if it has to be Dwight Powell. There's another guy. Kyle Anderson's another guy. That would be great. But we're just only time will tell. First of all, we have to find out who's getting extended and who's not. That's the first thing to find out. After that, all speculation is going to be built after that. That being said, I cannot prove Coby White's worth other than finding a way to trade him while he's young. His worth is his value. You could pretty much make the case that he could be a futuristic point guard for a growing team. Somebody like, the Hornets, somebody like, or, even Boston. Look, I think Coby White's just as good as Derek White or just as good as Malcolm Brogdon, who they think is the man. One-on-one, I think Coby White might take Malcolm Brogdon. So he has value in this league. I just don't feel like giving him $40 million, not knowing that I don't feel like keeping him for $40 million is going to win a championship. But trading him out for a player that could help us win a championship, I like that idea. So, sorry, Coby White. I appreciate you, Io DeSumo. And I appreciate everyone that gave you your money. Everyone that has given me your time to watch this episode, I am signing off. If you enjoyed what you heard, you like what you see, always feel free to cash at me, Erick Daniel Coughlin, hashtag Coughlin Pride. And if you don't want to cash tag me, at least like and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.